This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. So glad you're with us. We're in San Diego County today, and we are joined by Ricardo Flores. He is one of two nominees for a seat on the San Diego City Council, District number 9. There was a primary election, now a general. Congratulations, sir, on advancing to the general election. You know a bit about city government. You are the current chief of staff to the incumbent, Marty Emerald, who's decided not to run for re-election. What made you decide to take the leap into elective office?
Well, you know, my parents are both teachers, so they've served the public for their careers, and so that, you know, they really instilled in me and my sister that wanting to give back to our community. But also Marty was very instrumental in this. You know, she came to me and said, "Listen, I'm going to retire, but I think you have the skill set, I think you have the experience, the temperament, and I'd like to see you run." But
I want to get a sense of that moment. Because, look, being a chief of staff is a very specific and important skill. Being the elected is a very different skill.
That's right. You know, Marty never gave a lot of feedback to me over the years as a supervisor. And so this was really the first time I'd ever heard from her in terms of how she thought I was doing in my job. And so it was a very special moment in that you know, you realize, wow, I've been doing that good that she feels so strongly that she'd like me to go out there and take this opportunity.
So what did you think? Do you have a family?
Well, the first thing I think about is my wife.
Okay, what did she think? Run for the hills?
No, she was very supportive of it. Very supportive of it.
Kids?
No kids yet. No kids yet.
Yes.
We have our lab. But,
that's a kid.
That's our kid, yeah.
Are your parents still with us?
Yes, our parents are still
I got to hear what they think because, geez,
I
mean, that's got to be a proud moment, but a scary moment.
It is. You know, I think they were very excited because, you know, ultimately they saw this as an incredible opportunity. And also, like I said, they've served the community as well. But more so than anything, I don't think they realized what they were getting into. I think there's initial happiness and, you know, great, let's do this. But the hard work hadn't started yet.
Of course. So I want to get a sense from you how your 4 years as chief to a sitting member informs you as you run and then presuming victory. Because, look, I'm sure she was a great mentor, but you're your own person. But, you know, it's a push-pull.
You know, I think the biggest thing about being the chief of staff is that you learn to work with others. You really have to understand how to work with others and have to do and make things happen. You're the doer in the office. Your boss sets the direction, the goal, and your job is to fill that in. And your job is to fill that in using the other members of the council. And so that's what it really taught me. It really taught me the ability to work with others and to be a doer and to make things happen.
And I want to talk about this council specifically. Let us presume that the status quo maintains and there's a 5-4 split, Democrat-Republican. You're a Democrat yourself. I know it's nonpartisan. And I know that most of the time the votes are 9-0.
Right.
But there are times where there is that push-pull. And talk to me about how you plan not to work with your Democratic colleagues, but your Republican colleagues, Mr. Kersey, Mr. Sherman.
Well, the great thing about that is I already have. I mean, we have worked with Kersey. We deregulated our tax industry with Mr. Sherman. You know, we've done a lot of things bipartisanship. We built parks and added light with Mr. Kersey, with Mr. Sherman. So that's really the skill set that I bring to it, is that ability to really work with others. And I think that's the most important thing that folks are wanting, and especially in government. They want people to work together to solve their problems.
And what about the mayor? He's a Republican, a rising star, some say.
That's right.
Nice guy, I've heard. But give me a sense how you work with a Republican mayor. Again, he runs as a nonpartisan, so...
Well, you know, to the mayor's credit, you know, my boss didn't support him for the election for mayor. But at the weekend when he got that job, a week out, he actually came to City Heights, looked at a park and that we were interested in getting some money for, and gave us the funding for that park. And again, it's all about those relationships and really being able to work with individuals, because at the end of the day, the public doesn't really care what party you are. They care about the park, the lights, the streets.
But let's talk about the parks, the lights, and the streets, because there's 9 of you. And while I believe that the 9 of you work for the betterment of the city, you have 1/9 of it, and you want your 1/9 to be the best 1/9. And so how do you, the horse trading that goes on, because, you know, there's only so much money, and you want to park, and so does Mr. Sherman. And
you know, it goes back to those relationships and really understanding what the needs are of their community, because the needs sometimes are very different.
Well stated.
And so if your concern is that you're trying to get this park built, but Mr. Kersey's trying to get some sort of a light synchronization or something, then you really want to support them on whatever efforts that they're able to do.
I want to talk about a position you had prior to working for the current council member, and that's working for a Congress member. Susan Davis, still a member of Congress, representing significant portions of San Diego County. You worked as a caseworker,
I did.
District district director ultimately, or?
Well, I was a senior representative, but yeah, no, we did casework. Essentially, if you had an issue with the federal government, whether you were a veteran or immigration casework, you could come to an office like ours, and we would actually help you out.
So how did those years inform you? Because different level of government, different issues, but I'm sure exposure is helpful.
Well, you know, government is about law, and the law is oftentimes very strict, very black and white. And when you do casework, oftentimes you can kind of rough the edges a little bit, and you can actually try to help individuals who sometimes are caught in a kind of a catch-22, whether you're a veteran and for whatever reason you can't access those services because the law or something is such a way, you're able to go in there and try to make the case for them. And I think that's what it taught me more than anything, is really being able to understand the individual, understand the circumstance, and do what you can to advocate for them in a way that appropriate, but more so than a way that actually finds results for them.
I want to talk about an issue that is not unique to District 9, not unique to the city of San Diego or the county, but to the entire state. And that is the question of homelessness. You know that we are facing a homeless crisis. Los Angeles County is really facing a homeless crisis. San Diego County, though, is also looking at homelessness with some trepidation. The area has gone from 12th to 4th in the nation in terms of homeless population. The number of SRO hotels is shrinking, which is exacerbating the problem. San Diego City is seeing some change for the better, but other areas, Oceanside, Chula Vista, I mean, it's all one big happy county. There are challenges. Tell me about what you're seeing with homeless crisis.
So what it is in a lot of ways is that we just don't have enough housing for homeless. We have a small rental market to begin with, and then let alone when you're trying to, if you have a Section 8 voucher and you're trying to go out there and find a landlord to take it, and there's not very many landlords to take it, then that means technically you can't find housing.
I am stunned because I learned recently that Section 8 housing is now competitive.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not supposed to be the way it is. It's supposed to be the Section 8 is for those that face economic challenge, and now you're bidding for Section 8 housing.
Yeah, you have veterans that have a Section 8, it's called a VASH voucher, the Section 8 voucher with some mental services attached to it, but they themselves, when you go to that voucher, you have to still get a private landlord to accept it.
You mentioned veterans. Veterans homelessness is one area, not just in the city, not just in the county, but the entire state where we're seeing positive results. In San Diego County, we see veterans homelessness is down 16%. The sheltered are down 22%. I mean, this is a real bright spot. I ask you two questions. What's working, and how do you make it apply for the general population?
Again, it comes down to getting more resources from the federal government, which
talk to Susan Davis.
Susan Davis and Scott Peters has actually been really good on that, but also creating more housing. In fact, the Housing Commission just created this, they rehabilitated an old building in downtown called the Hotel Churchill, and those are new facilities for folks, about 100 or so.
For vets or for home?
Well, it's for homeless, but it's going to also serve for veterans.
Well, no, but I asked that because something's working in the veteran space. Is it that there's more opportunities for homeless vets to find structures, and now a general is better?
Essentially, we just need to have housing for them. We know we have the services, they just don't have anywhere to take it. And so the Housing Commission and actually Mayor Faulkner have made a commitment to actually trying to house, I think, about 1,000 veterans by next year. And so that's what you're seeing from that. And that's what we need to do all around in our homeless population, is find more housing so that they can have the services and they can get into this housing. Because once we get them off the street, then we have the services to help them out, but we've got to get them off the street. That's the real challenge.
His name is Ricardo Flores. He is a candidate for a seat on the San Diego City Council. It is District number 9. That election will be held on November 8th. In addition to, I don't know, A through N measures on the ballot, and there's a presidential race and a Senate race. But we urge you to go vote on November 8th. It's your right. My name is Brad Pomerance. We're coming to you from San Diego County on Local Edition.